Well, I just wanted to tell you, I was right, wasn't I? About these sorry, low down, broke, dirty, dusty ass passport niggas. I was right. A lot of you guys want to say that I'm racist. I'm not racist. I'm classist. And when you hang around low down, dirty niggas, you get guys going on camera bragging about raw dogging bitches wearing prep, having prep in Kenya. Or, I mean, this is so embarrassing. No, until you started going to Kenya, everything was fine. And in 1 year, you guys that country up and have a goddamn protest and have people literally threatening to you.
Okay, so this is in response to what's going on with some of the passport bros or some of the guys in that community being called out. A lot of this information could not be substantiated, in my opinion. I believe that maybe some parts of it may be true, but some of it clearly is just like jumbled in together. And what I honestly believe is you have a Black American person in Kenya, in Nairobi, feeding some Kenyans information about people inside of the African American community there. And this is a guy that's critical of what's going on with some of these dudes in Africa. And believe it or not, you have Black Americans in diaspora communities who are just like this person, okay? They're over there, or they don't like coming in contact with other Black Americans. And to be honest, when we are over here, we can become just like this guy, all right? It is not all peaches and cream, all right? A lot of us can get into the moment where we do not like seeing each other here in Africa, okay? So it just happens. You go through stages of this.
I mean, God, y'all is pathetic. Now, this is why I told you guys from the beginning, when I travel, I go to places where next to none of you motherfuckers go and can afford. And this is for that reason. And
boom, this is what he said, right? I'm not gonna lie. When I hear certain things going on in Gambia, in Tanzania, in Ghana, Kenya, I hear it. I'm like, oh, yeah, kind of glad I'm in Uganda. You know, we had a situation with one brother. I don't want to really get into detail, but we had a guy that stole some money from a Forex, and he took it and left the country, and it came back on us, right? But thankfully, it was just a him situation, not all of a situation. But yes, a lot of Black people feel like this. We're gonna go to an African country where we don't have a lot of us there. This sentiment is so true.
No, beat that. I see. Where were you? Where were you? You were in like Lima, Peru, or something, right?
Oh, hold on. Oh, thank you. Hold on 1 second. Let me stun on these brokies again. Hold on. All right, so I'm up 20 stories. Hold on. Let me cut some so you can get the real. Hold on. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Can y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
About 20 stories up. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've only seen one or two other Black Americans. And some people ask me how that makes me feel. It makes me feel fucking good because I won't have to deal with this shit that is going on in Kenya, goddamn protest about passport bros. So it fills me. That's why when I travel, I look for places where I'm not going to see you for this reason, because you guys are trash.
Yo,
I mean, what you
hold
done-
up. We have to make the distinction because you.
Let's talk about this. Yes, there are good people in the Black American diasporas, but at the same time, you got to understand the problems that we may have in America. You know, you're in a new environment, you still have them. We don't really work together very well. We mostly are not all the same religion. So for me, I'm Baptist, right? You got a lot of people in the pro-Black community that's Hebrew Israelite. I don't have no problem with them, except for the majority of the scammers I come across on YouTube and in real life end up being so-called Hebrew or Israelite. Not saying they all scammers because they not, but you know what I'm saying. That's what I hear, right? It's what I experience. Some people are agnostic, atheists. We already coming from different religious backgrounds. We coming from different parts of the country. That also influences on how you interact. You know, somebody from the West Coast gonna sound different and ultimately be different from somebody from the East Coast corridor. Maryland, DC, a DC and Maryland person's different. People start getting on their individualism in Africa because it's what you know in America. Individualistic behavior. And that is really damaging. And it comes to, what about me? What about what I need? And if it's overstepping somebody's boundaries in the diaspora community, it often happens. People start off very friendly and then end up not being friendly. When you understand that, you don't want to deal with it. A lot of us dealt with that in America. When you come to America, you start seeing these things. Just like I was recently in Kenya and I went to a few mixers, it was okay. But from what I hear, that mixer is not even going on anymore. And I could already sense that was going to happen. I was telling Traverse City, I was telling some other brothers, so yeah, I can see this is about to go down, right? I could just feel it. Because at first, when you first get there, everybody is cool. But then, there's no community mindedness going on there. You don't have no strong leadership in these diaspora communities. This is what happens, right? And so people already know there's no organization unless you're coming from one church coming into Africa. But if you come in like randomly, you come into Africa for yourself when you come here. You're not coming here to work with other people from the community, and you just happen to meet them while you're here, right? So these sentiments are true indeed, family.
Because you throw in all Black Americans under the bus. You are Black American yourself, right? It's specifically the passport bros you talking about, right?
Well, I mean, okay.
Bro,
right?
I'm a though. How is that? I'm a You see me? I got 2 chains. I'm in my household. Why do I have a hat? I'm a you know what I mean? So it's like...
No, but you don't engage in fuckery. You understand? Like, you would never get caught in a scandal where people are literally protesting and threatening to put you in the grave next to Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, okay? I agree with that, but please don't say never. I don't use the word never, because never has a weird way of pulling you into that bitch. So I won't ever get caught in a scandal like that. Just put it that way.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. That's my whole point. Mm-hmm. And this is why, look, I went to Chile. I didn't see not one Black American. It filled me with joy. I stayed there for 2 weeks. Oh my God, Santiago, Chile, amazing. Mm-hmm. It made me feel great. I was the only ninja at every bar, every restaurant, everywhere I went. I was the only Black. And did that make you uncomfortable? No, it made me very comfortable. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm very comfortable being the only one. Yes, for this reason.
Here's the problem with this mentality, though. I lived in Poland where I was like the only one. I was having money, more than I do now. I had nothing to do but work. I'm now closer into the diaspora. Kenya is really big there. We have some people here. Shout out to the Subi Shop YouTube channel. They blowing up. We've been doing some amazing work together. However, you got to have your people to scale, and everybody respect numbers. A guy like this, if you tell this to other groups, Indians, Eritreans, I think like somebody in the Somalian community, guys who stick together, they listen to somebody like this and they think that, what's wrong with this guy? Like, you don't like your own community? I was at a restaurant, and he's a Eritrean guy. Eritreans run a lot of the good restaurants here. In nightclubs, hotels. They're in the service industry. So I'm talking to the guy, and the guy says he was in Kenya, but he left. He wanted to come back to Uganda. I said, why? He said, my people not there. I want to come back to Uganda, where more Ugandans are here. And if you look at Eritrea and you put it on the scale as a country and rank them as far as where they at, you might say, well, Black Americans, might be a little bit better than that, but that's not necessarily true. Because they are working together. Every time I go to that restaurant, I see all these Eritrean men, like I said, working together, building their communities up. And you have to work it out with your community for you to really have something. You can't be fragmented. And I was telling people the other day, it's some problems in certain diaspora communities around the continent that I'm aware of. People call me. We've had these same problems here. You're gonna have to hit those issues though. You're gonna have to get funky. You're gonna have people that are messy, that are backbiting, right? People coming with their unaccountable behaviors. And they have to learn how to work it out, how to make it together. This is something as Blacks we're trying to strive to do in the next level. We're trying to learn how to work together. We don't do that no more. So you're gonna get those problems, but you gotta get to them before they can get better. Otherwise, you never have anything. This is why the Eritreans do very well, the Indians do very well, Somalians do very well, Chinese do very well. You think that they don't have problems? Of course they have problems, right? But when you sound like this guy, and again, I get his frustrations because I get into moments like this. And then I got to calm myself down and get back to the core reality of it is that you need your people to scale. You need Black Americans to scale. You need Ugandans and Kenyans. You have to get it right, because if you don't, nobody else gonna get it right for you. You avoiding the issue is not gonna change nothing. You're never gonna have what you should have. You got to be able to fix the people in your community and then fix your damn self. We gotta fix ourselves. I mean, he talking about like everybody else the problem. I'm pretty sure he got some flaws he can work on. He's a funny guy though, for sure. I would love to interview him.
Nah, man, you're different, man. I don't feel comfortable. I need to see my people around me. Just not these not these type of obviously.
Right. Well, in Panama, there was a lot of Black people, but they weren't niggas. They're upscale. You understand? They're upscale in Panama. But even still, the Blacks in Panama are different from the Blacks that go to the DR in Medellin. Let me tell you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? These J-Rello types, that's why Panama will never be a passport bro destination.
They can't afford Panama.
Let me talk about this too. Here's also another issue that we got to get in front of. When you have a bunch of single men coming into a city like Nairobi or Kampala or Medellin or Sosua, men are by nature more rebellious. Men are going to kind of typically do what they feel like doing. That's kind of how men are. You amplify that with some of their behavior and then the local behavior with some of these women. We're not going to act like these women are not on the come up too. These women are just as problematic and can be as these men are. But, when you're a foreigner, nobody going to want to hear that. Guys got to understand, foreign men do not want to see you with their women, their good looking women, spending money on them, taking care of them, treating them nice. Not everybody going to like that. If you show it on video, if you're showing your lifestyle, people are not going to like that. And then you got these guys out there like J-Rello, they're to the extreme. So you already have on one end, some guys already doing good. You got a good job. You're influencer. You got money. You having things. They see you guys like in Nairobi. You have some guys doing some nice things over there. You got dudes going to horse racetrack things. You got dudes experiencing some fun stuff in life. And you post it on social media. Austin had a party at the Hilton. I can't even get a party at the Hilton in Uganda, right? Party at the Hilton, beautiful party, very upscale. Live streamed it, okay? Beautiful women there, right? Nothing happened, a very classy event. But I'm gonna tell you though, a lot of people don't like to see that. And then so when you get a J-Rello situation going on, then here's what happens. Oh, y'all the reason why the rent is up. Same thing here. I'd have been called everything underneath the sun. I had to literally downplay my lifestyle here just to stay. Because if it was any more open, I'd be getting too much bad press by default, right? And this is what happens when you get a J-Rello. People got already an undertone about you living there, living good, okay? So yes, that's also an issue.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why I went there. You notice I didn't go to Colombia?
Money. They can't afford that on fundraiser money. Them will get stuck in the country, man. You have Rello begging to get back.
Well, that's my point. That's why I went there. And I went to Costa Rica. They damn sure wouldn't have even been able to afford a drink in Costa Rica. God damn, that place is more expensive than New York City and Chicago. I swear to God, Costa Rica is one of the most expensive places I've ever been. I mean, it's crazy. So this is my point, guys. Spend more to get away from fuckery. Now, if you want to go to Kenya, everybody already has a bad taste in their mouth about Black Americans because of these ninjas. And Austin and KG, if you're watching or listening, you just need to vacate Kenya immediately. Vacate Kenya immediately. Even though it's not your fault, but you put the place on blast and made it big. And the J-Rellos and what's that other who had the prep? What's his name?
Big Boss Real Talk.
Oh, wow. Well, I want to just
be dope.
I mean, somebody said that the person Big Boss was using HIV PrEP with no condom with ladies. Again, that cannot be. I haven't heard that. Again, that might be a blatant lie. But what he did say is, you guys should leave. And the reason why you guys should leave is because you blew up the spot. J-Rello messed it up for you guys. First of all, let me just say this about Austin. I met Austin in 2023. A month or so after, it was 2023 or 2022, something like that. A month after those things happen in Brazil, Austin, the maturity that he has shown, I'm talking about somebody on a big bro kind of level. I'm older than him. What he's been able to do, how he's transformed from where he was when he first came on the YouTube, like in 2021 to where he is now, he's made amazing strides. Unfortunately, people always want to remember the problems you had instead of looking at where you are now. This young man has become a better content creator. He talks about geopolitical issues. Now, is he more straightforward and more like, for Africans, he's a very straightforward, direct kind of person, and that might offend people. But if you promote people and they come and do stuff, this is what's gonna happen sometimes. Listen, I've been living in Uganda. I never told nobody, come live in Uganda, whatever. People have come here and made problems. The moment you tell somebody that you're in a place and you like it, somebody gonna book a ticket and come. Flat out. They're gonna book a ticket and come. That person's not gonna always be smart. That person's gonna make bad decisions. It's just gonna happen. It's just going to happen. So every time somebody comes and make a bad decision, should you leave? Well, it's the same thing about what happens in America. And if Kenyans make a mistake, I mean, there's been people from Kenya that have been serial killers in the United States. Should all Kenyans not come to America anymore? It just doesn't make sense, right? Like, not everybody can be judged by the same lane, but people tend to do that. And we got to keep things into perspective. They didn't do it. In fact, they were against Jay Rello. If they knew that Jay Rello was going to do something like that, they would have never endorsed him or brought him there. Now, don't get me wrong, Jay Rello is known for being a crash out, but they would have never wanted him to come.
B-Dub, we've warned them. They call us haters for every little thing that we point out, but we're telling them this type of shit will happen if you persist to dust it up globally. And they don't want to listen. We're just hating. We're just doing X, Y, and Z. It's like, bro, come on, man. Get a clue. You have no awareness out here.
Well, the other thing is big gains. All right. The only thing big about you is your nose and your lips. OK, let me tell you something, Big Gains. He got mad because I didn't want to go on his low budget, low rating show. He barely has 1,000 subscribers, always blows me up.
So let me just, conclude. All diaspora communities go through this. All of us, we got scammers in our community. We're not even talking about the locals. We're talking about us. We got scammers. We got religious cult guys. We have down bad, outright rotten people. But we also have very good people. We also have elders. We also have people who love Africa and love the Black community. We have to focus on our relationships in the diaspora. I don't know so much about Nairobi, but in Kampala, the Black American community is so big in Nairobi now that all of you can work to be like in one community. You don't need Black British. In our community, it is me. It is TJ from Subi Shop. We have some other Black Americans. At some parts, we have Ugandan Americans, Ugandan British, right? And we have some Caribbean in our circle. That's how we rock, right? And then we have some people in our diaspora group that are that visit Kenya and not Uganda, and they kind of come through both or whatever. So this is what happens here. These are real issues, and you got to meet them straightforward. You got to come here knowing that you got to retrain yourself. Individualistic behavior doesn't work in Africa. You got to come together and unify. It's going to take some time, but you got to look at the Eritreans example. You got to look at the Somalians example. It's a lot of teamwork, and there's no I in team, unfortunately. And if you don't have strong leadership in these communities, if you don't have people who sacrifice in these communities, the communities can't work. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again here on Kinganda. We out.